right. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi. Welcome. Welcome to Blatant Gold. Yes. For those of you who may not be aware, Blatant Gold is a line out of a Patricia Smith poem. So we're very excited to have rebranded the Summer Poetry Gathering as Blatant Gold. I want to start off this evening, as we always do, with our land and labor acknowledgement. Located at the intersection of several great waterways and fertile soil, Chicago was once a trading post and healing site for the First Nations indigenous tribes. Chautauqua, Chicago, is the traditional homeland of the Council of Three Fires, Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. It was a meeting place for other tribal nations, including the Miami, Ho-Chunk, Sauk and Fox, Kickapoo, Peoria, and the Sioux. Today, over 170 tribes are represented in Cook County, and Chicago is home to the third largest urban Native population in the United States. At the Chicago Poetry Center, we recognize that the United States was developed through the labor of enslaved Black people, as well as Asian immigrants. We acknowledge that this country has widely ignored and erased the rich contributions and influence of Indigenous people, Black people, and other people of color. As an organization, we commit to platforming and honoring Native and Indigenous voices, Black voices, and the voices of people of color. When we cannot meet this commitment, we will audit our operations and programming as we continuously endeavor toward equity, access, and inclusion in all of our practices. One other piece of housekeeping before I bring up our Executive Director, B. Metzger-Sampson, to really kick things off for the evening and talk a little bit about the Poetry Center. I do want to make you aware of our safety policies here. CPC and Haymarket have a policy of non-cooperation with ICE. We do not anticipate any issues, but we do have an action plan should ICE arrive in the area during this event, including safe space behind locked doors for anyone who might need it. CPC staff, if you can raise your hands. We've got staff here, staff there, and Helene over by that door. If you have any concerns or if anything happens, please see one of us. If we do hear of ICE being in the area, one of us will take the mic. We will announce that, and you can see either Helene will be at that door or Rin will be at that door, and we will take anyone who would like to be taken behind locked doors to safety in that place. If you obviously feel free to engage in any kind of rapid response that is in your practice and training. If that is something you want to do, you can also feel 100% free to simply remain in this space. Okay, those are our logistics. Please join me in welcoming to the stage B. Metzger-Sampson.
Hey everybody, welcome to Blatant Gold. Thanks for celebrating with us. At the Chicago Poetry Center, we believe that poetry illuminates our individual and shared humanity, fueling thriving lives and healthy communities. Our mission is to connect people and poetry, equitably engage poets with communities, and foster creative literacy in the city and beyond. We envision and work to create a fair and verdant world rooted in artistic expression, human connection, and boundless imagination. We do this work through three major program areas: Literary Life, which is our free public events like this one, Critical Conversations, and our poetry education programs. And, we do this event to close a season of work in all of those areas. So what a year it's been. We've supported over 60 poets with paid opportunities, over 2,500 students with weekly programming in their classrooms. and thousands more students and audiences with performances across Chicago. This work takes an entire community of people who believe deeply in a shared set of values, and I'd like to take a moment to honor their work. Last year, when we closed at this event, our 50th anniversary celebrations, I thanked our 55 team members by name, both to express my gratitude and to highlight just how many people it takes to do this work. Today, with an even bigger team than last year, I'd like to try something a little bit different. So team, I'm surprising you all, bear with me with this. I hope you'll roll with it. Poets in residence, first, I'd like you to please stand for a moment and stay standing for a moment. And, absolutely. And please stay standing. And now, for our board members who are present, a bunch of you are standing already because you're working, but please stand, all of our board members. And keep standing. And then one more, could all of our staff and volunteers please stand? Yes. And if you all could stay standing for a moment, I just want to share that together this group of folks have figured out safety plans to protect our community against federal agents, supported our students through a wildly unsafe and unstable year in Chicago, and continue to rally around our core values of equity, inclusion, integrity, humility, and creativity, values which aren't going anywhere at the Chicago Poetry Center. And as those values become more and more impractical to uphold in our culture, we find it more and more critical to uphold them. So, can you please join me in a giant round of applause for all of these people doing all of that work? Thank you, everyone. Thank you for bearing with my surprise, team. But of course, our work doesn't stop there. Our students bring our values to life in their poetry, our volunteers make our events possible, and our audiences continue to show up and show out as a book-buying, Haymarket House-packing group of poetry supporters, sighing and snapping and clapping your way through our season. Absolutely, yeah. And critically, our donors ensure this work sustains. At CPC, we have weathered one funding shift after another, federally, locally, and beyond, and our donors have been a real beacon of stability in that. So thank you for that stability. This is what your support has built. And if you haven't yet given to CPC, we hope you'll consider joining our community of donors, whether you try out our literary grab bag today, make a major donation or anything in between. We are grateful for your support. And on that note, just like show of hands, who's seen the literary grab bag table already? Who's checked it out? Yeah, that's not enough of you. So I'm going to need you guys to work on that after this portion of the event during the community hour. We have our lovely board members back there ready to assist. Look, at the literary grab bag table, you're going to get like a new Haymarket House book, a new Haymarket Books book, or a recent, Lambda Literary Award consideration book, and it is stuffed with a gift card that is for between $10 and $85 for a Chicago location for $25. So I keep saying you make money on donating to the Poetry Center today. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So I also want to today announce the launch of our Literary Life Giving Circle. For those interested in supporting public arts programming at a major level, we have some pretty fun and unique Lit Life perks. There's details on that on our info table, or you can come talk to me anytime. And really, I just want to close with a note of gratitude for all of you. Thank you for being the kind of folks who show up for poetry and poets, for local art events, for being a community that is grounded in care and creativity. And to that end, I would like to close with a recent student poem from our residency program. The Power of Kindness by Levin M. I have been thinking about the way people help pick up after a fire, or how when someone falls, you help them stand up. And sometimes, if you're having a bad day, someone will try to comfort you. People who will help you if you're working on a hard task are everywhere. I can confirm that part. Mostly, we don't want to harm each other. We just want someone to hold the door for us when we're walking by. And to say thank you for the person holding the door. To see your mom smile at you when you do chores without her asking. It's these moments we have to cherish, or we won't know what it means to be kind. So with that, thank you all for believing in kindness and creativity in this world. Thank you for being here and celebrating another great season with the Chicago Poetry Center. And with that, I am very happy to introduce my colleague, CPC Director of Programs, Helena Chanzar.
What's up, everybody? Who was out at the open mic? Anyone? Wasn't it just like so magical out there? A little humid, a little buggy, but everyone looked so good and sounded great. Thank you for making that so special this evening. And thank you for being here. You could be anywhere on this steamy night, but you're here with poets and with poetry, and I think that's really cool. So in 2024, the Chicago Poetry Center celebrated its 50th anniversary. And in honor of that special year, we brought back the Gwendolyn Brooks Award for Excellence in Teaching. This annual award recognizes CPC poets and residents for their contributions to the organization as skilled and dedicated teaching artists in our school residency programs throughout the city. CPC residencies create opportunities to be liberatory and art-forward at school, offering a time when students can be their whole selves and when the rules of language go on recess. These weekly sessions are a rare moment in a student's week dedicated to creative self-expression, storytelling, experimentation, and artistic play. Through the residencies, poets and residents facilitate moments of vulnerability and trust, of sincere truth-telling, and of boundless imagination. As teaching artists, they create a space for students to be expansive in their vision of the world they want to see. It's in these residencies that Musu Bangura asks their middle school students questions like, what would your shoes say about you if they could talk? What color is the number 7? What does your favorite memory smell like? What's one thing you love about yourself? Since 2021, Musu has worked with 4th and 5th graders in Hyde Park, middle school students in Clearing and in Lincoln Square, and high schoolers in Riverdale. Through the Chicago Poetry Center, Musu has taught poetry at a summer camp. They've led zine-making workshops at the Boys and Girls Club, and they've been a featured Writers' Week performer at multiple high schools. Regardless of what grade level, school, or neighborhood Musu teaches in, teachers and partners say the same thing. Musu has a remarkable way of integrating multimedia into their lessons, which gives even the most reluctant young writer a path towards poetry. On top of teaching and performing at schools for CPC, Musu shares their artistic practice with their community. They teach zine-making workshops to support organizations like Organized Communities Against Deportations and the Sex Workers Outreach Project. As if they weren't busy enough, this month, Musu joined the Chicago Poetry Center board, filling one of two board positions reserved for Chicago, for poets in residence, yes. Musu, don't do it, don't cry, because then I'm gonna cry. Okay. And now, Musu's bio. Musu Bangura is an artist originally from Washington, D.C., and currently residing in Chicago, Illinois. They are the author of the essay book, Considers Lil' Kim's Hardcore. Their work has been published in New Delta Review, Apogee Journal, Southeast Review, and more. In 2020, they were selected as a Best of the Net poetry finalist. Musu is a teaching artist at the Chicago Poetry Center and has served as a judge at Poetry Out Loud's city and metro regionals. Musu can be found gazing at Lake Michigan or under a weighted blanket. With great pleasure that I give the 2026 Gwendolyn Brooks Award for Excellence in Teaching to Musu Bangura. I'm gonna finish that sentence. Okay, I'm going to start over, and you can just stand with me while I say this whole sentence. It is with great pleasure that I give the 2026 Gwendolyn Brooks Award for Excellence in Teaching to Musu Bangura for their 5 years of bringing dedication, creativity, and delight to Chicago Poetry Center's residencies. Please give another warm round of applause to Musu.
That award is heavy. It's very heavy. Hi, everybody. I sound nervous because I am. I can't believe I'm getting this award. I remember being up here watching Leslie and Joy and Timothy get the award and being like, oh my God, like, this is so cool. Like, I would love to get an award like this. Like, who knows when it'll happen? And it just happened so quickly. I wasn't expecting that. So I have a little speech. The font is very small, so please bear with me. Shout out to the Chicago Public Library where I printed this out. Support your public library, y'all. All right. I am honored to be given this award and to have my name, hold on one second. And to have my name next to Gwendolyn Brooks' name, first and foremost. It feels like I've done something right in this life. I am, as the great Erykah Badu calls herself, an analog girl in a digital world, which means that I use a paper planner. This is my paper planner. And last year, I decorated it with an image of Gwendolyn Brooks that I found from a magazine. So just to see this as one of the first faces that I wake up to in the morning when I'm like planning my day, and then to get a message saying that I got this award just feels like kind of surreal. But now this notebook has extra meaning for me. So I was raised primarily by my father, who is now a retired science and math teacher. My dad is a no-nonsense man from Sierra Leone, who is absolutely the annoying parent asking my teachers to give me harder homework assignments to challenge me. He gave me hell growing up, but there's no one prouder of my achievements than my dad. He keeps a folder of all my certificates spanning from kindergarten all the way to my high school diploma. And my dad used to tell me growing up, Fulamusu, people can take so much from you, but they can never take away your education. And that's something that has stuck with me forever, and I hold really dearly. So I'm not a poet by accident. Poetry found me when I was an angsty preteen, working through the woes of being an eldest daughter in an immigrant family. I was in the 6th grade, and my middle school English teacher gave us all the choice of poems to memorize. I chose Maya Angelou's Still I Rise, and I will never, ever forget the feeling of standing in front of my class and reciting it. I was so shy as a middle schooler. But this poem transformed me into a hip-swinging, voice-booming phenom. And you couldn't tell me shit when I was performing the poem! You couldn't tell me nothing! I felt so powerful on that stage. And my teacher, Miss Latney, it was probably just a regular lesson for her, but I don't think she knows just how much she transformed my life. I am a poet because of Miss Latney. I will never stop singing her name and her praises, and that is absolutely the reason that I'm a teaching artist, is because I had a teacher like Miss Latney who just gave me this assignment, and it transformed me as a person. So when I think about why I teach, it's because of Miss Latney, it's because of my dad. And to me, teaching is like gardening, where I may have to wait a season or 2 or 12 to see really the impact of the work that I'm doing, but I really trust that what's happening underground is there, and that's my anchor. So I think about this when I think about my first residency at Nathan Hale, where I had students that all had names. They decided to rename themselves, taking on artist personas, I guess, and really transforming who they were as people. I had one student named Ocean who was an older sibling like myself, and who had to take care of her little brother and would bring her brother to every session, and her brother was really obsessed with Betty White. It was his special interest. Every single poetry, this is 3 times a week, mind you. Every single poetry session that I had with him, he would start the class. We would all start by listening to him spew fun facts about Betty White. I know a lot about Betty White now. I think she died on New Year's Eve, maybe. She's from Oak Park. I know a lot about that lady now. But that's just one memory that I have. I think about my first time working with 4th graders and how I spent so much of the year just thinking I was failing and not doing a good job. It was my first time working with an age group that young. And I remember ending the school year by helping my teacher throw a jazz cafe with my students and hearing them talk about just how much poetry meant to them. And they gave me an anthology of their poems at the end of the session when half the time I was like, I didn't even know y'all finished poems. I didn't know we finished poems. This is a full anthology of full poems. This is amazing. So memories like that. Or thinking about my high school after-school program at Carver, where I had students who were just a strong absolutely not when it came to performing. Those students then went on to perform at Rooted and Radical. And I had one student who got an interview from a local radio station about her participating in it. So just kind of seeing the transformation of students who really have sometimes no idea that they're into poetry, just changed their lives in this way, just feels really surreal, but also just kind of a reminder as to why I do what I do. So I will say that many people's mouths drop when they hear that middle school is my preferred age group to work with. I understand. And also, I feel like it's a very selfish reason for me, because I think as I think about my life as a middle schooler, I remember just how difficult it was to feel seen and heard. There's just so much noise about who you are, who you're supposed to be, and who you once were. And I think so much of seeing my middle schoolers is a reminder that at my big age at 32, I also am still figuring things out, and I also am still clouded by noise, and just figuring out the journey of who I am and who I'm supposed to be, and it's so easy, I think, to distance ourselves from young people and think that we are, as adults, so different from them. But middle schoolers really remind me to put myself in their shoes and really remind me that I am very, very, very much the same in a lot of ways. Yeah, I think being a teacher is really wild. I really can't believe that CPC trusts me with this. Like, I'm grateful, but oh my God, I'm like, wow. Yeah, my students, I'm like, you trust me with your learning experience, your feelings, your vulnerability on the page. It's a lot of power, but it's not a responsibility that I take lightly. And I think with all of that being said, I really want to thank my fellow teaching artists. I've learned so much from y'all, so much, so much. Thank you for the lesson plans. Thank you for the advice. Thank you for, just being who you are as people and like being inspirations for me. Y'all don't know how much you really challenged me to be a better teacher, but I really do hope just like the impact of the work that you do. It is so easy, I think, as an individual to not feel it, but when other people reflect it back to you, it means a lot. So if I may reflect back to you all, y'all are fantastic and doing so much incredible work, and I'm so grateful to be your colleague. And I would like to thank the CPC staff for your dedication to the work and for rocking with me, even when I don't send in documents on time. I'm really sorry. Helene, I really appreciate you. I'm a work in progress, okay? Oh, did I do that? No. Oh my God. All right. To my students, thank you all so much for making it worth it, so worth it, so worth it, so worth it, so worth it. This work is not easy, but I did a panel recently at a school, and they were like, if you could do anything in the world, what else would you do? I was like, I'm having a really hard time thinking of anything other than being a teacher, and it was a very genuine answer. I don't know, I think I'm just kind of built for this life, so I don't think I have a choice at this point. And I'm grateful for it. And then my last few words are to baby me, who was probably very confused in this moment, thinking about maybe like 12-year-old me, high school me, 6-year-old me, who's probably like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just giving you the advice to hold on tight. Things will make a lot of sense in the end, and I promise that I got you. So. Right. I'm gonna read some poems. Yay! These are all new poems. Yeah! New shit! I just finished writing a book of poetry. Yeah! And a lot of people maybe in this room know that I've been working on this for a really long time. They've also probably heard me say that my challenge has been that I've been trying to write not sad poems. It's really hard for me, actually. But I'm really proud to say a lot of these poems that I'm reading, I don't believe are sad. The verdict is out. You all will be the ones to decide. But I'm really, really excited about some of the poems that I've read. I think that we are in a time of immense despair. Things are really feeling bleak for a lot of people, understandably so. I'm really trying to challenge myself as a poet to remember that our words really inspire hope for people. And that's kind of the approach that I've been trying to take lately with my poetic writing. So hope to maybe bring some of that into the room today. This first poem is called Future Prayer. May your hands soothe warm hands after Babylon's burning. May loving lick our crowns like flames on an apostle. May we remember our sins as bricks on recovery's stairway. May America be a name of the past, a cough of dust clearing itself out. May our screams of free Palestine be backwards. Free Sudan be backwards. Free Congo, free the Philippines, free all colonized people until we call our breath back. May every empire collapse upon itself like Colosseum. May the new world bloom like hyacinth peeled open in devotion. May sediment flow into riverbed and awaken new fish. May new fish gift us new gills. May we drink in fresh water and thank old versions of us tucked under pebbles. May we forgive haters on the street and in our mirrors. May we remember our remembering. May our poems leave smiles on Lucille's eternal face. May our words flicker sunshine on Zora's headstone, our similes as bouquets for June. May we usher in a world without distraction, our loving attention stretched beyond limit. May we drip these altars of body carried with cowries and gold. May we always witness us as golden. May we know conspiracy. May pleasure meld with bone marrow. May joy meet bubbling blood. May we rest. May each root remain. This next poem is called Tar Baby, which I decided to flip it. It's also a Toni Morrison book that I haven't read yet. I haven't read it. I'm gonna read it. Molasses ain't a trap. It is a medicine. Dip yourself sweet and carry a watermelon. You, sea offering, Atlantic pearl. God ain't one to make quicksand of a life. There is always one foot pressing the shore. Your body was never tar or dust, sweet baby. Future daughters bowed in gratitude for your iron ore, your diamond, new weapons you forged, less honey trap for bears and more salves to soothe the living. And yes, bricks sink in syrup, too much body for thin hands. Of course, sticky streams leave a trace. Thank every palm that draws you back, that mock the depths with a weighted grasp. Tug of war tethering between the heavens. Look how alive you are. How many stars point north tonight for you, glittering for your every breath. How they set the ocean and teach you knowing. Look in the mirror, my love. See the bees swarming your crown, the cowries swimming back to your ankles. You buzz like melody, like beacon, a morning bell startling the sun. I don't know how I'm doing on time. One more? Okay. I follow instructions. Sheesh. Sorry, this is hard. Okay. I'm gonna read. Sorry, this is really hard. Y'all wanna help me choose? I have a poem dedicated to myself after Zora Neale Hurston, and a poem dedicated to young people. So which one should I choose? You. Me, okay. All right. This poem is dedicated to me, but also Zora Neale Hurston, who is a prolific folklore anthropologist, incredible writer, someone who cared deeply about Black culture, specifically Southern Black culture, and yeah, it just means a whole lot to me. So the title of this poem is taken from the title of her essay collection, and a few lines from this poem riff off of some of her language from her writing. I love myself when I am laughing, and then again when I'm a wagon stuck in traffic. When my neighbors don't wave back, and in the spill of my baggage. And no, I do not weep at the world or bill this act as tragic. I am too busy sharpening my oyster knife and wielding it as praxis. And love my laughing self hand to mouth, holding her in my body. Protect this precious shell of mine from strangers jumping salty. And when the coast hits midnight and tide beholds the knee, I thank the sun for making a night as black as me. And love myself in my bathroom mirror, constellation framing my face. Only ever loved myself in white at home, spotted in toothpaste. And love myself depressed in bed and have loved depression away. I know the heavy of my word and say it anyway. Maybe I'll be remembered when my end finally comes by my turpentine mouth and my ruby-throated hum. But I promise I'll die before forced into martyrdom and make a mule of this world before it turns me one. I must know I'm as cosmic as my word is true and love myself fiercely till I'm pretty in a tomb and forge a life worth living, however strange or taboo. Undo this robe of shame and bathe in me renewed. Thank you all so much.
Mr. Bangura. I've just had all the feelings. Yes? Yes. We ready to have more feelings? Yes. Lovely. All right, so I have the great joy and honor of introducing our headlining poet for tonight, Maida Del Valle. Yes. So I will eventually read Maida's actual bio. But first, I'm going to attempt not to talk for an hour and a half about Maida. Maida and I have known each other since the early 2000s, when we were like 12. Maybe Maida was 12. 2001? Holy shit. Woo, all right. Yes, a long time. And one of the incredible gifts and joys of community is the longevity, right? Is the opportunity to get together and connect and then move apart, be in different parts of the country, be in different parts of your artistic careers, do different things, be different people, but then continuously interweave, reconnect. Maida and I actually met in New York City, despite being Chicagoans, and have both come back. I was so thrilled when Maida joined the Chicago Poetry Center teaching artist team 4 years ago, which is also wild, because it feels like yesterday and forever. I was like, when did Maida not teach with us, and also, was it yesterday? And when I was thinking about that, I was thinking about the fact that, like, not every artist is also meant to be a teacher, right? And that's okay, that is all right. Not everybody needs to teach, but when you get the artist who is also an educator, right, it is magical. And you know it when you see it, right? And we know that with Maida. And we're so fortunate to have her with us. I do want to read this quote. Hold on. I need my... Was it 2001? I for sure didn't wear reading glasses when we met. I think I was bald. Okay. I was. This is how long we've known each other. Maureen Murray, a teacher at Paris Elementary, says, "My students loved their experiences with Maida. We have a morning message that previews our day, which a student reads aloud. When they would read that we were having a poetry session, a sibilant chorus of yes would move around the room." And of course, right, so Maida joins Poetry Center. That's very exciting. Having her back in Chicago is exciting. And then, most recently, this little thing happened where she was named Chicago's Poet Laureate. And I mean, legitimately, when Avery was the first Poet Laureate, I was like, oh, only 2 years? Right. I was like, who's gonna be the next one? Like, who's gonna do that? And then I heard it was Maida. I was like, oh, I'm so dumb. I was like, of course it's Maida, you know? Like, yes, of course. And one of the things that's been most exciting, selfishly, personally, for me about Maida being the Poet Laureate is it's given me a chance to experience her work again. She was playing it a little close to the vest with new poetry over the last few years. And, you know, one of the other incredible gifts of being in artistic community is the opportunity to witness each other in our growth, right? And I've always loved Maida's poems, and I've always loved hearing Maida say her poems. And I feel like when I hear the new work, I'm sort of like, oh, with the poems that I heard her say before, with her poems 5-10 years ago, I was sort of we were like in the house of her experience, and now we're like in the room with the experience. And maybe we're like right like at the bedside of the experience. Like we are right there, getting to feel it and dance it and sing it and cry it and whatever it is that's happening in the poems, somehow not, like, you know, like this is the mystery. How does she do it? How do we do it? But that is something that she has mastered in this time. And it's just thrills every cell of me to see it and hear it. So I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna read the bio, the official bio, and then we can hear poems, okay? Official bio. Maida Del Valle is the current Poet Laureate of Chicago. She was born and raised on the South Side and is the author of the University of Hip Hop, and oh, sorry for not pausing it. She's grown and raised on the South Side. Sorry, I know better. Didn't mean to skim over it, and is the author of the University of Hip Hop and a winner of the 2016 Drinking Gourd Chapbook Poetry Prize from Northwestern University Press. Her full-length collection of South Side Girls' Guide to Love and Sex was published on Tia Chucha Press. She appeared on 6 episodes of the HBO series Russell Simmons Presents Def Poetry Jam, and was a contributing writer and original cast member of the Tony Award-winning Def Poetry Jam on Broadway. She began her artistic career at the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, where she was the 2001 Grand Slam champion, and went on to become the National Poetry Slam champion in the same year. She was the youngest poet and the first Latinx person to do so. She has appeared in Urban Latino, Latina Magazine, Mass Appeal, The Source, The New York Times, and was named by Smithsonian Magazine as one of America's young innovators in the arts and sciences. Oprah's O Magazine selected her as one of 20 women for the first ever O Power list, a group of visionary women making a mark in business, politics, and the arts. She's performed at venues across the world, including the White House in May of 2009 by invitation of President Obama and the First Lady. Please welcome Maida Del Valle.
same ones, Marty. These are Oprah's favorite things off of Amazon. Now I can't see you, but I'll need those. Hi. Whew. How long do I have, Helene? Sure, okay, cool. Okay, great. I wasn't sure. I was like, I couldn't remember. So I actually decided that I'm going to do like older poems today. From the book, From a Southside Girl's Guide to Love and Sex. And it's odd because there's like certain poems that I read all the time, and I'm like, you know what? I never actually read the poems about love and sex. So there's going to be a lot of sex. A lot of F-bombs. So you're not into that sort of thing. There's a library in the back where you can go read a fucking book. Thank you, CPC. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, all the teaching artists, the staff. It's such a joy to work with this organization. The work y'all do is, you're just like small and mighty, you know? And it's just one of the awesomest places I've had the honor and pleasure of working with in my career as a poet and as a teacher. So, yeah, let's get to some poems, yeah? Here we go. Okay. Mommy's advice. Kissing is okay. Touching up here is okay. Nothing lower. Keep your legs closed. Learn how to cook if you want to get married. Cover the rice with 2 finger widths of water. If you don't put enough oil in the caldero, you won't get pegado. Keep your legs closed. Why buy the cow? Clean everything, not just what your suegra sees. It's good to pray a rosary every once in a while. Don't step on ants just because you can. Keep your legs closed. Separate whites, colors, and blacks. Socks go separate. Wash your panties in the shower if you have an accident during your regla. Before putting them in the wash, keep your legs closed. Close the windows, the dust is going to get in. Boil a pot of water with cloves after frying chicken to get rid of the smell. Iron this material inside out so it doesn't get shiny. Cross your legs, don't keep them open like that. Turn the fire down on the rice once the water burns off. If you add water while you're cooking, make sure it has salt. Put the aluminum foil shiny side down, keep the lid on tight, and keep your legs closed. It's better to water plants early in the morning. If you water them at night, you'll get slugs. They'll eat your plants, y te la matan. But you can use a saucer full of beer. They'll crawl in and drown. Keep your legs closed. Always take an envelope with something in it to church. Make enough food in case somebody drops by. Eat the leftovers. Don't keep the fridge open. Penguins don't live here. Close it and keep your legs closed. Now I'm going to read all the poems about why I should have kept my legs closed.
Whole lot fucking going on.
This is called For Real. Our first official date. A night at the Contemporary Art Museum where we got walked in on mid-kiss in a dark cafeteria, a late-night snack. At the Jewish deli you'd go to with your favorite aunt in a part of the city I'd never been to, and a walk to a surprise location nearby. But first you wanted to talk, clean up a few things because you want to step to me right. You deserve it, girl. For real. So cross hot tea and a bowl full of matzo ball soup. You tell me you kissed my cousin like 5 or 6 years ago. That was all that happened. For real. Also, you were hooking up with a coworker again after a recent breakup with another woman you would have had to convert religions to stay with, but you only love her as a friend. That's it, and you're ending it. For real. En route to the surprise location, I watch my feet moving on wet pavement as mist falls, a ghost's winter breath crowning the streetlights with orange halos. I glance at you, a vigilant side eye. You're looking at me different, you say quietly. I'm drawn to a small play lot with the gate closed. I stop to unlatch it and walk in past the posted hours. On the swing, you push me hard, my stomach all butterfly and lurch as I arc in the air. On the seesaw, we teeter back into humor, cracking jokes about waking the neighbors, the cops coming to arrest the smart-mouthed Puerto Rican with the white boy who'd have to bail her out. The surprise you want to show me is a small coach house just next to the park. In the dark driveway, you pull me towards you. This is where I was born, you say. My parents lived here. My mom would take me to the park when I was little. I lean into you, and maybe the skepticism softens, thinking of you as a child swinging in a rush of laughter, and the vigilance yields, thinking of my own errors and messiness, suspicion suspended midair like fog, or the memory of child's play. For real. First date. Oh, okay, we can go ahead. I haven't read that one in a while. I was like, well, that was good. First date, a perspective. My favorite place to look at the city is near here, by the lake. I'll take you, you said, before a long kiss under a misty Chicago sky on a night in December that wasn't too cold. But it was all over so fast that I never got to see the city from where you love her best. And I'm grateful for that in a way, because strange as it sounds, the way you love the city made me look at her again, and I fell in love again with the city, just in my own way. And for months, I replayed that perfect first date, so well planned and executed, so sweet and unique, something special that you thought of just for me, and I would wonder why we never got to see the city together. Until I pulled your book off my shelf, the one about the city that you'd signed for me so many years ago, and read the blueprint for the perfect date, museum, deli, and coach house, that you had already taken someone else on. Sex in 4 shades of sound. 1, get the fuck out of here as fast as possible sex. A quiet snore mid-thrust. A blank, silent stare looking for the fastest exit. 2, great, now I have to be nice sex. Awkward glances at the ceiling, the TV flickers blue and white, infomercials blaring on every channel, numerous trips to the bathroom, the futile search for socks and underwear. 3, satisfying, or at least I came sex. Scraping clean a plate of spaghetti that could use a little more salt, garlic. End the night with a pint of ice cream and a late night Western. 4, holy shit sex. A humming rush like water in your ears, reaching for breath, grasping the earth and a handful of hair arching back into a hallelujah yes. This is 1,001 names. 1,001 names after Psychen. 1, I call you first, the beginning, before all the others. Call you, what do we know about love at 16? The first secret I kept from my mother, the first time I lied about where I was going, a summer spent next to the phone, next to the boombox, playing sad salsa by La India and Mark Anthony, a summer spent waiting for you to call from down south, the first time cheated on, call you the first heartbreak, the first let's still be friends, first taken back, first pregnancy scare from dry humping, first making love, first fuck on an old mattress laid on top of milk crates, first condom, my first blunt, first high, first house party, my first infidelity. Call you my first spray can, rooftops and Newports, subway tunnels and ciphers. I'll call you gold nameplates and old English for Valentine's Day. First late night escape from the house. I'll call you car, windows down, hair whipping in the wind like lakeshore waves, grasping for flight. 2, I'll call you I'm too old for this shit and knew better but did it anyway. Call you messy. Call you something like silk, slippery words, a midnight sky made flesh. Call you wild woman wanderlust. Call you sacred skin stretched, tuned under your hands to conjure the gods. Call you late night phone calls from Japan that rang while you were in my bed. Call you long limbs that wrapped around me at daybreak. Call you how many women in this room have you fucked? Call your name, a name I shouted like celebration, a name meant to bring honor to his lineage. Call you betrayal, a silence, your name acrid in my mouth. Still want you and hate that I do. Call you young, a boy made from the sins of his father. Call you a father. Call you the spirits spirits you said you felt in my house. Call us a thing, spirit called together, a karmic consequence. Call you divination by holy men, with drum and dance and sweat, with bones, with shells. Divination with holy water, divination with sex, sex like ritual. Call you I loved you and will never understand why. Call you the wail of a ladaina, the scent of geranium in my hair you said still lingers. Call you a morning. Saudade, mi querido, saudade. 3. Call you ghost. Call you motherfucker. Fuckface, fuckface, fuckface. Call you my mama put out the good linens and plates when she invited you over for dinner. Daddy warned me about people like you, fuckface. Call you Wendy, the city revisited, like a first love retraced. Call you the city incarnate, the city made flesh you're never filled up on, hungry. Call you a hunter, call you hunting to pour something into that empty. Be it Jameson, be it sex, be it the hunt. You same as a ninja, same as daddy's paycheck after the first. Same as a word that leaps off your lip last minute and you can't remember. Same as mommy's figure after the third child. Same as a Picasso shadow in Daily Plaza at midnight, smoke in a windstorm. Gone. Same as the breath of a thing dying, always leaving. Student of every fine-ass woman you see, master of none. Master of illusion. Same as a New York City taxi round brown folk you so hard to find. Call you cliche. Always told me to write what you know. Guess that's why you don't write about yourself. And if you don't... Call you bad timing can really be a thing. East Coast, Port Town, my best friend. Call you a mirror I see clearly now. Call you I still had so much growing up to do. Guess hindsight is a motherfucker. Call you sensitive and passive aggressive. Beer changed the tone of your voice. Call you she left you fucked up. Made you think that baby was yours. The aftermath of disillusion. Call you I tried as long as I could. Maybe I could have tried harder. Call you pencil shavings and stout beer, a moon bear and ninja, ibeji, like my grandpa. Call you loyal to the bone, mushrooms at Disneyland, a hip-hop encyclopedia, the good guy, a solid man. Only when it was done was everything really said. And don't worry, I promised you I'd never write about the... Man, I haven't read these in a long time. Okay. It's called After School Special. Just aged myself with this one. There was the blue hoopty. Always the blue hoopty. Maybe it had a name, I don't remember. Let's call it Electric Youth, the Blue Avenger, the Blue Star. I do remember the radio wires poking out like stubborn metal hair, hand-rigged to the kicker box in the trunk Joe had bought that summer on Maxwell Street in Jewtown when he suddenly came up on some extra money. The Blue Bullet, a home of sorts, make-out nest, weed den, strategy room, storage space for spray cans, rolled up linoleum and Puma windbreakers, a sputtering stallion of duct tape and cassette mixtapes on Maxell magnetic ribbons, the chill spot on wheels where we steady stayed sitting. Joe picked me up after school. Maybe I lied about having theater rehearsal or French club meeting. Maybe I used 25 cents on the payphone we weren't supposed to use during school hours and left the 911 code on his beeper. Because it was 1995. Whatever. We sat in the safety of the blue Honda. September, October maybe, when the last ghosts of summer cling to the reins that pull down the first leaves of fall, shrouding themselves in flashes of gold and rust. And Marquette Park, always the park where we made out after dates at Gertie's for chili dogs and ice cream. And there was a song, always a song on the radio. And Farside just dropped, can't keep running away, can't keep running away. A 1-2, so listen here, there comes a time in every man's life when he's got to handle shit up on his own. 1. Windshield, wiping rain, water, and Catholic school fear condensing on the inside of the windows. 2, my period's late and my mom asked me if I was pregnant this morning. So listen here, I don't remember the words exactly, just that we weren't having sex yet, just virginal dry humping. But legend had it, according to someone's sister or cousin, or that creep-ass greasy teacher in room 208, that if you dry hump hard enough, one rogue sperm could work its way through 2 layers of underwear and get you pregnant. An immaculate conception. For real, you didn't know? And there I was, 16 and scared, a shroud, leaf shaken from its tree and wanting to run, and I believed it all. Believed my mother's accusatory stares, believed the body that was betraying you with an irregular period, believed the nuns and teachers who considered us all hormone-ravaged daughters of Eve, and I had seen what happened to pregnant girls at school, how they were suddenly no longer student council secretary, how everyone stared, how their eyes puffed red, swole on the regular along with the belly, how the diploma came without the walk across the stage, how they disappeared without an explanation, how my mother said once, that's what they deserve for betraying their parents in the Catholic Church. I printed these out in like 20 fonts so I can look at you and see my phone. So these are like newer pieces. They're kind of in progress. I wrote a whole bunch of these for like 30 for 30 last year and some for this year. So I started writing these haikus and tankas, a couple of haikus, and I started using the word damn in all of them. And so these are like my damn tankas and haiku. Damn tankas. Damn. 1 year later and I'm still writing about how your ass is gone. Easy to forget. What forgets you quickly? Damn, who am I kidding? Tanka for bitter women. Women, always so damn crazy. Ain't it funny how they want to talk about the destination and never the journey there? Rejection Tanka. I appreciate you a ton. Damn. Just say you're not that into me. Be easier to hear than a sad and sorry excuse. Tanka for what or who I'd rather forget. Damn. Just like that, I almost went the whole day and didn't think of you. But memory's a sneaky bitch, ain't she? Treacherous hoe. You this was really fun. You might just need a live, laugh, love girl. God knows that will never be me. Made me with too much damn sense to just water myself down. Tanka for a sommelier. Could have minded your own damn business. Left me all alone, but no, you just had to have a taste of what you knew you couldn't drink. I love these church moves in here right now. Let's see, okay. This is Everywhere the Lake for Sito. This motherfucker. I know this time the words won't conjure you back to the shore of my body. So instead, I think of the way you stared at me with the muted green waves of the lake on a cloudy day in your eyes. Not quite storm, but never a stillness. What were we? But you, the lake, always the lake in your eyes and in the laugh, rumbling from your chest like a thunderclap. The lake in your smile, a languid ripple across the surface of your face when my voice was a pebble in your ear at midnight. The lake in your hands, like swells wandering across my back, skin cresting in my hair. The lake in the colors you used to emblazon your name all over the crumbling architecture of the city we both love for everyone to see. I don't hear you anymore, but I see you everywhere. In the city of water, in the sunset, over the water, and the sunrise, over the water. You, the lake, always retreating, pulling back from the edges of me as if I could ever wash away the tide of you. When a chameleon is dying, nerves and synapses defying their end continue to fire, causing the skin cells to expand and contract like small universes. Under the layer of skin cells, a lattice of millions of microscopic crystals captures the lizard's fading light. And taking its final breaths, the chameleon bursts into a fury of colors. Explosions of crimson and lapis, incandescent purples flashing into a rainforest of emeralds. Once able to change its color at will to conceal itself, this dying rainbow is the last poem a chameleon will ever write. I imagine this is what the heart does when it's breaking, capturing all the light it's able to remember until it too bursts into a storm of colors. Each love gone, a band on the spectrum of its story. Can you see it? The muscle shaped like a fist, hiding in the black night of my chest. The raging prism of hues that defies each loss and continues to beat. To the man who asked me to perform a poem in the bar when I said I was a poet. Go ahead, do it right now, he said. The beers you drank hanging in the air between us, go ahead. Like I was some fucking literary jukebox that took requests. How do I say? I'd rather you give me something worth writing about. Like noticing the way the letters of my name fit together. Like asking about the beads on my left wrist that never come off. Like inhaling the scent of my silver-streaked hair and telling me it smells like prayers and Palo Santo. And for your effort, I tell you a story about a woman who collects all the words and pictures around her, who keeps the color of a sunrise, waking next to her lover under her tongue next to the blade. How she tucks all the beautiful moments away to keep her company during the empty ones. And Lucy, you inspired me to read this one. This is a crown of Tonka. I stare at myself in the mirror sometimes and marvel. Who is that? Standing, breathing, learning how to finally love herself. I hope for real this time. So many losses, I would often wonder why I was still here. Wondered how I was still here. Wondered when I would make sense of all the emptiness I had been gifted. Look at her now, alive and full, laughing at her own doubting.